Hello, and we're back again. As you can see, we've got a puppet and it's moving. Now my microphone isn't picking up on my voice perfectly at the moment. I'll look towards improving that, but as you can see, yeah, the lips are moving quite well. And we do truly have a working puppet. Now there's a few things to go. I've got a few plans for this puppet. I think I'll leave those plans to a future video and just really explain the puppet as it stands at the moment. But it is nice to have a character that's talking along with me. But it's not just talking along with me. It's actually able to look up and down, but also blink. We can move the head around. Yeah, it's all quite functional. Raise our eyebrows, look up into the sky. Evil expression. Shock. Smile. Really works quite well, the model. Da, da, da. Now this took some doing from where we were at before. I'm just going to set the model, I want it to be at a default position. Oh, no, that's not default at all. Yeah, go on then. We'll let the model have a snooze and it can talk while it rests. Now, I think the first thing that I would say about this is when you're dealing with a model that you need to edit and change until you have a working formula, because I wouldn't say they really work straight away, or they don't tend to, or you might have an issue, bugs, or you just didn't predict what kind of sublayers and organisation that you needed to make it work properly. This icon here, when you're actually selecting your actual puppet that you're working on, right here, this icon, this is the Illustrator icon. Now you can click that and it will take this model over into Illustrator and will allow you to do some work on the model. Now this is basically what all videos tell you about this, but there's something more critical, I think, in this regard, because if we move over, I've already got Illustrator open. It's got that model open as well. As you can see, there's quite a lot of files and layers going on here. I'll just collapse that because there is an awful lot. Yeah, what the videos don't actually tell you is, if you have this saved on your computer, and it does seem like it needs to specifically be on your computer to achieve this, when you change something in the layers, if you paint something, if you create a shape, if you do anything at all to this model, and then you just go ahead and save it like that. Whenever you save it, a character animator seems to be referencing the file in intervals So basically anything that you've changed, it takes a few seconds and it changes here too. So if you've got both of them open, it's really quick to edit and change and make these things work. And that, I think, is extremely valuable information to have, instead of constantly thinking you need to be opening only one app, for instance, and hitting the buttons that open the other app. No, if you change the file in one app, the other app actually reflects it automatically. And that's quite quick. Now, I've got quite a few strands going on there. Okay, so we've got the eyebrows. Part of this whole process is to separate the eyes from the eyelids, from the eyebrows to the mouth, the face, and the hair. These are all separate entities working together, but they're all under the same grouping. So, for instance, we've got this puppet Yashoda, or well, I'll leave the pronunciation for now. But this is the master layer, as it were. It's got a plus in front of it, which means this is a character. This whole character is an independent entity, which is going to allow it to move in character animators separately. Moving down here, we do put other pluses in. So, for instance, the pupils, calling them pupils, but it's not really just the black of the pupil, because of course wherever that pupil goes, we want the reflection and we want the colour of the eye to go with it. So if you look over here, we've got those grouped together. That stuff is fairly simple to grasp. Every time you put a plus, that's an independent part of the puppet. Now, the real trick for this particular puppet though was making these eyes capable of looking round and blinking. That was probably the most difficult part. So in regards to that, I had to create a mask. And the mask, I felt as though that may as well be the face. So I just turn this on and off. Now you can see the kind of internal structure of the eye. The whole reason for this is this blue-white section here, that's the eyeball. And of course, in someone's face, your eyeball is partially obscured, and it does kind of, if you could strip away the skin, it would look like that. But the critical reason we did it for animation is so that this eye, this pupil, can move up and down like this without being restricted by the edges of the eyelid, which would have restricted it if we'd called that the eyeball, or we'd maintained just this section here as the eyeball rather than this big round circle behind the mask. But of course we didn't want to see the rest of the eye, so we cut holes in the face and created this mask that covers it up. Now this is where it becomes incredibly important which is on the top and which is at the bottom of the layers, and which is grouped into what. So for instance, your eyes, you have your left pupil, you have your left eyeball, and then the actual eyelids have their own layer structure that resides and sits higher than the eyes themselves. Because of course they are literally higher if you're thinking about the structure of someone's face. But it also allows you to do the blink, and it allows you to have these creating the proper shape of what someone actually sees when they look at somebody else's face. Now the blink's actually in there. The blink is invisible in this case, but you know, there it is. Now, as you can see, it covers things up. Now, Character Animator, as long as you structure it like this, actually removes the original part of the eye and replaces it with this blink, as long as you structure it like this. The other aspect of this though and let's see, I'll just see if it I was actually building this but I think it was still necessary to have this I'm about to show you. I'm just checking some details. Right, okay, as you can see, I'm going to take everything away from this eye. There we go. Those bits that construct the eyelid and the eyelashes on the left eye. And then when the blink comes in, that happens. Now it's actually less necessary than I thought. I constructed actually a circle to obscure the other eye because it wasn't disappearing at the beginning because I hadn't structured it correctly. But this down here, this circle down at the bottom of the eye layer, is probably not easy to see actually, considering what's going on here. So I'll tell you what, I'll remove the face to improve visibility. But as you can see, look, I've got a circle behind that. Now that originally was to obscure the eye that wasn't disappearing. Now its only real effect is to remove or obscure this tiny white spot here. I probably don't need it anymore, but it was a learning process to realise that you can kind of do anything with Character Animator. It's just about some clever forethought in the construct of the layers that really gets you there. Now, I mean, I've covered the mouth before. I've talked about the mouth before. And that's working just fine. I'm thinking that the mouth maybe needs some slightly better realignment. It needs to follow the centre of the nose, and I think some tweaks and improvements wouldn't go amiss to improve this, but otherwise it's a very functional puppet and capable as it stands. One key element though is each of these different mouth structures I think could do with a bit more shape showing up in the cheek. So I'm looking to put some little arches here, little dimples that reflect what kind of expression is being shown. And it's really easy, to be honest, to do that. you would go into the mouth layer, which is right here. Sorry, I'm having to look around my camera. And say, for instance, we have a smile. Now, a smile is going to create like an arc dimple up the top here. We've got a bit of that going on in regards to the edge of the mouth, but a little bit more, just to give it a bit more character. I think that would really be a good idea. So that's one of the improvements I've been thinking about. Not taking into account some physics that I'll be putting together, but that'll be character animator orientated, the physics part. But yeah, this model's about to get a whole lot more intricate and have more detail. And don't forget, we haven't yet done anything with the body. This layer down here at the bottom, that's going to be where the body is. All this is just simply the head. So all these different paths, running up and down, yeah, that is just the head. What I will say is thank God for modern computing, because that kind of extreme complication and processing would have required its own graphics card to achieve like a specialist unit. But now, of course, we can do it on relatively simple computers, which is just astounding, really, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, we're going to do a lot more work on this. But it absolutely does work. And she's still sleeping. Yeah, there we go, she can hear me though. I'm going to have to improve my overall camera setup, I think. Because my camera, well, I'll point it out to you if I can. Oh, no, it won't show on the camera, that's alright. But yeah, my camera's actually embedded into my keyboard. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Certainly a nice laptop, but for this particular use, not so useful. I could definitely do something that worked a lot better. Oh, I didn't know I could get the eyebrows to go so low. I might have to put some restrictions on just how far the eyebrows can go. Otherwise, I think that would be too much. But yeah, blink, 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 blink. I'm particularly proud of the blinking system, because that is the one that I most had to think about in getting to work. But yeah, I think we have a working model. Now we just need to add the extra detail and make it fully functional. And I'm getting really excited about this now. I've got a lot more ideas. I want to show all of them here on the channel. A bit of astonishment there. Okay. Signing off for now. See you soon.